My best friend demanded I host her birthday party at my house, declaring, "You have the bigger space, so it's only right." When I refused, she accused me of sabotaging her special day and spread rumors that I was jealous of her popularity. I smiled and said, "I'll celebrate with you elsewhere, but my home isn't your free venue." My name's Megan. I'm 34. I live in Round Rock, Texas. I've worked in corporate marketing for almost 10 years. I'm not flashy. I don't chase attention. I like quiet things out reading, cooking, a clean house. I'm not the life of the party, and I've never wanted to be. My ex-best friend, Allie, was the opposite. Allie was loud, wild, always center stage. People loved her. She could walk into a room and have the whole place laughing in 5 minutes. I met her at work. She started in the department next to mine, and for the first few years, we were inseparable. We had the usual best friend thing going. Coffee every morning. Texts all day. Weekend brunches, girls' nights, inside jokes. She brought the fun. I brought the calm. It worked. Until I bought a house. It was nothing over the top, just a 3-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. I'd saved for years. It was the first big thing I'd done for myself. I worked hard for it. And Allie, she didn't love that. At first, she acted happy for me. She helped me pick out furniture, even gave me a fake plant for my dining room. But every time she visited, she'd say things like, "Wow, it's huge in here," or "You've really moved up, haven't you?" It was always said with a smile. But something felt off. Then came the conversation that blew it all up. It was early April. I had just gotten home from work. She showed up with a bottle of red wine and a big grin, talking a mile a minute. She sat down, kicked her shoes off, and said it like it was already decided. "You should host my birthday party this year." I laughed, thinking she was joking. "What?" She leaned in. "You have the bigger space. It just makes sense. Mine's too cramped. We can do it here. I'll invite everyone. You won't have to do anything, just open your doors." I sat there, stunned. "You want me to host a party for you in my house?" "Yeah. I mean, you've got the perfect setup. Backyard, space for tables, all that. I'm thinking around 50 people." I couldn't believe it. I took a breath and said, "Allie, I love you, but I'm not comfortable hosting that many people here. It's my home, not a venue." Her whole face changed. "You're seriously saying no?" "I'm saying we can celebrate somewhere else. I'll help you plan it. Just not here." She stood up, didn't even finish her wine. Wow, so much for being a friend. And then she walked out. At first, I thought we'd cool off. Maybe she just needed time. But that's not what happened. Over the next 2 weeks, I started noticing things. Friends stopped responding to my texts. I'd walk into work conversations and people would get quiet. Someone asked if I was okay because Ali said you've been acting jealous. I confronted one friend about it. She looked uncomfortable and finally admitted that Ali was telling people I refused to host her party because I couldn't handle her popularity. That I hated not being the center of attention in my own house. That I was trying to ruin her big moment. I wanted to scream. None of it was true. I just didn't want a drunk crowd trashing the home I worked years to buy. But it didn't matter. People believed her. Ali made herself the victim. And everyone backed her. I didn't defend myself. Not at first. I figured if these people really knew me, they'd see the truth. But most of them didn't care. They wanted the party. They wanted the show. So I stepped back. Let the storm pass. But I also started paying attention. Ali was planning this huge party, telling people it would be epic. She hadn't booked a venue. She was relying on someone to come through. I knew her well enough to know she didn't have a plan B. I decided she needed to learn what it felt like when the rug gets pulled out. So I came up with one. And it wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It was slow. Careful. And by the time she realized what I'd done, it was way too late. She kept spreading lies, and people kept eating it up. What hit the hardest was watching friends I'd known for years turn their backs like I was nothing. People I'd helped through breakups, layoffs, and late-night breakdowns. They didn't even ask me what happened. They just followed the loudest voice in the room. That voice was Ali. She doubled down. Made herself look like a poor girl whose jealous best friend betrayed her over a party. She told people I didn't want anyone in my house because I was too good for everyone now. By the end of the second week, it felt like I had no one left. But she made a mistake. One night, I got a text from Amanda, someone who used to be close to both of us, but had moved away a year ago. She didn't know what had happened. She just said, "Hey, just saw Ali post about a huge party she's planning at your place. Congrats." That stopped me cold. I checked Ali's Instagram. There it was, a post hyping up her 30 and thriving blowout bash, complete with a picture of my backyard from a visit months earlier. The caption read, "Get ready, my girl Megan is hosting the birthday of the decade. Party popper woman dancing, can't wait to party with everyone." Over 100 likes. Dozens of comments. People excited. Asking what to bring. I felt my jaw tighten. I had told her no. Flat out. No room for misinterpretation. But she had decided that didn't matter. She was announcing the party, hoping the pressure would make me cave. Or worse, assuming I wouldn't dare contradict her in public. I didn't post anything. I didn't message her. I waited. And then I started taking steps. First, I called a friend from college, Chelsea, who ran a small event rental company. I told her the truth, everything. She said, "You want to ruin her little fantasy without saying a word? I got you." We came up with a plan. Ali was still counting on my house being the location, but she hadn't done a single thing to prepare. No backup venue. No rented chairs, no catering, nothing. She thought everything would just fall into place. So I reached out to a few of the local businesses I knew she'd try to use. A bakery. A party rental service. A DJ she used before. "Hi, this is Megan. I just wanted to give a heads up. There's a party being planned and someone might try to book it under my address without permission. Please don't confirm anything without a written contract from me." Each place thanked me. "No problem," they said. They'd make a note. Then I waited some more. The week before the party, Ali texted me like nothing ever happened. "Hey babe. Can we meet this weekend to go over setup? I'm thinking fairy lights and maybe a champagne wall." I stared at the screen. No apology. No explanation. Just pretending we were still besties. Pretending I had already said yes. I replied, "You need to find another venue. I'm not hosting. I said that weeks ago. Nothing has changed." She didn't reply. But 3 hours later, I got a phone call from a mutual friend named Brooke. Brooke started yelling the second I answered. "What is your problem? Do you have any idea how many people are counting on this party?" I hung up and blocked them both. The very next day, I heard from Chelsea. "Ali called," she said. "Tried to book our tent package for your address." I told her I needed written confirmation from the homeowner. She went ballistic. Screamed about how it was all handled, how Megan gave me full permission. I told her I'd need to hear that directly from you. I laughed. "Thank you. Want the kicker?" Chelsea asked. "She's got no backup venue. Not a single one. Everyone thinks it's happening at your place." The day of her birthday came. She posted a countdown. A picture of herself in a glittery dress. "Tonight's the night." And then, nothing. People started showing up to my house. At first it was a few cars. Then more. I didn't answer the door. I kept the blinds shut and the lights off. Eventually, someone knocked hard. I peeked through the side window. It was Ali. Red-faced. Holding balloons. Talking to someone on her phone. I didn't open the door. She left after about 20 minutes. The fallout was swift. Her epic party was a disaster. No venue. No food. No music. Nothing. People were pissed. She tried to say I bailed at the last second, but I had receipts. Screenshots. Texts. The whole timeline. I sent it to a few people who had asked, just to clear the air. Then I posted a simple message. When someone says no, it doesn't mean try harder to manipulate them. It means no. I hope everyone finds out what happens when you lie too often. You end up alone. The silence was delicious. But this wasn't over yet. Ali still had one more move to make. And so did I. The Monday after the failed party, I walked into work with my head held high. I expected whispers. I expected glares. What I didn't expect was silence. No one said a word. Not even the ones who had been the loudest in her corner. They glanced at me, then looked away. Ali hadn't shown up. By noon, word got around she called in sick. But later that afternoon, HR called me in. Apparently, Ali had filed a complaint. Said I had intentionally humiliated her, used private texts to defame her, and that I had jeopardized her personal safety by refusing to tell guests the party was canceled. I sat across from the HR rep, calm as ever. She asked if I had shared screenshots or made any public accusations. I pulled out a folder. Inside were copies of everything. Texts from Ali demanding use of my home, the fake Instagram post, messages from her mutuals attacking me, and my final text to Ali clearly saying, I am not hosting this party. The HR rep read through them slowly. When she finished, she looked at me and said, Thanks, Megan. That's all I needed. Turns out, Ali had made too many enemies in the building already. People had tolerated her because she was funny, charismatic. But this crossed a line. You don't drag someone's name through the mud, then try to get them fired when it backfires. The next day, I heard the news. Ali wasn't sick. She'd been told to take a week of unpaid leave while they investigated her behavior. Someone else in the office, quiet, reliable Emily from finance, had filed her own complaint, saying Ali had been bullying people for years. Suddenly, others started coming forward too. But the real twist? A week later, I got a message request from a guy named Ryan. Said he was Ali's ex. He wrote, Hey, I know we've never met, but I dated Ali last year. She told me all kinds of things about you back then. Said you were obsessed with her, that you tried to sabotage her friendships. I believed her. But now I've seen the screenshots. I feel like a fool. If you ever want the truth about some of the stuff she said behind your back, I think you deserve to know. That message hit hard. It wasn't just the party. Ali had been poisoning the well for over a year, planting seeds with people I hadn't even met, making sure if anything ever went wrong, the blame would land on me. That's when I realized she hadn't lost her mind over a birthday party. She'd been waiting for the moment to cut me down, publicly, and she thought this was it. But now her moment was unraveling. She tried to destroy me socially, professionally, emotionally. And I was just getting started. I didn't plan to go further. At first, I just wanted her to stop lying, to leave me alone. But when I found out how deep the lies went, how long she'd been planting them, I knew she needed to feel real consequences. Something that wouldn't fade in a week. So I met with Ryan. We talked for 2 hours. He told me everything. About how she used people, bragged about manipulating coworkers, and even lied about personal things like faking a health scare to guilt him into staying with her. She'd told him I was clingy and obsessed. She said I followed her around like a sad puppy and tried to turn our friend group against her. I never did any of that. But hearing it laid out like that, it hurt. More than I expected. Ryan offered to go on record with HR, and I thanked him. But I had a different idea. I found an old email chain, one from 2 years ago when Ali convinced me to help write a proposal for her. She had to pitch a campaign at work and was panicking. She'd asked me for help, I wrote up the draft, and she turned it in as her own. I never said anything. I thought I was helping a friend. Now, I forwarded the email thread to our department head. With it, I included a short note. I hesitated to share this. But given what's happened, I think it's time to be honest. This campaign wasn't her work. It was mine. 3 days later, Allie was called into a meeting. She didn't come out for 2 hours. By the time she walked back to her desk, she looked like a ghost. She packed up her things. Quiet. No tears. Just that stunned look people get when the ground shifts beneath them. She didn't say goodbye. HR sent an email later. Allie had resigned. No details, but word spread fast. People connected the dots. I thought that was the end of it. But here's where I'll own up to my mistake. A few weeks later, I went out with some friends from work. We were laughing, drinking, catching up. And someone said, "Megan, I still can't believe you brought her down like that. You were so calm, so cold." Everyone nodded, like they were proud of me. That's when it hit me. I'd become the person they now feared. Not respected, not supported, feared. It felt good at first, but that feeling faded fast. Because the truth is, I didn't win by being the better person. I won by being more patient, more calculated. I became what I hated about Allie, someone who used silence like a weapon. The friends I kept after everything, they're real. They stood by me. But I also lost some good people because I didn't speak up sooner. Because I let pride keep me quiet while Allie set fire to everything. I should have told the truth earlier. Should have stood up for myself when it started. But instead, I waited until I could burn her down completely. And I did. She left town a month later. Deleted most of her social media. Moved back in with her parents in Amarillo, from what I heard. Her party queen era? Done. My life? Quieter now. Smaller circle. But real. I don't miss her. But sometimes I miss who I used to be before all this. Before I learned how far someone will go to make themselves the victim, and how far I'd go to make sure they weren't. Let her birthday be unforgettable. She wanted a spotlight. She got burned in it.